Welcome to the Ridley Athletic Complex, just down the road from Charm City, Baltimore, Maryland, where it's Championship Sunday. Here in the Patriot League, the 2-seed Navy Mids trying to knock off the top seed in the Loyola Greyhounds. So glad that you're with us, everybody, alongside the Army head coach, Kristen Wagbo, Matt Martucci. Weather has cooperated. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. 1 seed versus 2 seed. And 2 of the best coaches probably ever to do it in the sport of women's lacrosse. I don't think you could get a better day or a better matchup.
No, it's an awesome day to be competing in the postseason here in the tournament. Both of these teams fighting for that automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, fighting to keep their seasons alive. A lot of passion out there on the field today. Great leaders as coaches on the sideline and some great senior leadership on the field. And you've been through this before, having played in an ACC title game and won one. What are the emotions like? It's the best feeling. This is the accumulation of all of your work, all of your hard work, and you just love being out there as a player. It's competition at its finest and a great day to showcase what you're made of. And speaking of showcasing, we showcase our highlight players for today. For Navy, getting by BU in the semifinals. If they're going to pull an upset today, it's going to rely on Jenna Collins once again. Yeah, and Jenna just showed, how dominant, physically dominant of a player she is. You could see that in the semifinal game. She just goes to cage really hard. She's going to be really hard in a top key matchup for Loyola to contain today. And as far as the Greyhounds are concerned, another big second half for them. They got that surge, and they ended up getting a tournament record 7 goals from Frankie Camely. How about that? Yeah, she had a standout game in that semifinal matchup. She's just a really finesse, refined player. She was able to put away a lot of her chances. She's both an off-ball threat and a threat with the ball. So she'll be really exciting to watch tonight, see if she can continue that. It's a tournament where the top seed has won 13 of the 15 times. Navy trying to become just the 3rd that isn't the top seed to come home with the title. It's the Mids, it's the Greyhounds. Opening draw control and starting lineups are coming up next.
Back here in Baltimore for what is 2 seed versus 1 seed. The top 2 teams in this Patriot League for the Women's Lacrosse Championship here in 2016. Loyola and Navy. With Kristen Wagbo, Matt Martucci. Now time to take a look at what is our starting lineups for this afternoon. And start with Cindy Timchel and the Navy Mids, who come in as the 2nd seed, 13-5, 7-2 during the Patriot League regular season for the legendary coach Timchel. Mids coming off of what is a semifinal victory over BU. And then there's the Loyola Greyhounds, top seed at 13-5, 9-0 in the league. Let's take a look at the Mids. Starting attack, Keaney Gallagher and Morgan Young, 2 to pay attention to. Jenna Collins' sister Julia, Molly Doyle spearheading the defensive unit, first team All-Patriot League selection, and the first-year starter, the sophomore Ingrid Boyum, in goal. Flip it over to the Loyola Greyhounds. And head coach Jen Adams trying to once again become the student to best the teacher for what would be the 5th time in this series. Loyola coming in 4-0. Their lineup, Cammie Whiteford had a big semifinal. Maddie Blakeman is, of course, a first-team All-Patriot selection, as is Tabasso in the midfield. And then Maddie Lesher, as we talked about in the semifinal. Jen Adams calls her the Little Pitbull, part of the Patriot League 25th anniversary team that was just named, of course, this past year with a couple of her former teammates. One of them being Taryn Van Thov. And of course, Annie Thomas. That's the crazy thing about this Loyola team. 88% of the scoring from a year ago is gone. And yeah, you know what? Just reload the weapon. Yep. They bounce back from those losses from graduation really well. They have a lot of young talent that has really emerged this year in Tabasso and Camely, having that kind of coming out performance in the semifinal game on Friday night. And here we can see, Tabasso, a freshman, going up against Jenna Collins, just a sophomore. So some really good young talent out here in the field today. Could be, honestly, the best draw control matchup in the league. Midfielder of the year against the first team selection at Tabasso. Loyola's going to come out of that grub situation with first draw control of the game there. So that's how the Greyhounds will start. And we get the early foul call on Navy. 5th all-time meeting. Greyhounds seeking what is their 13th title in program history, the 5th in 6 years, and their 3rd straight Patriot League title. It's a dynasty under Jen Adams that's been built here in Baltimore.
Definitely, and looks like Navy is starting in a man-to-man defense here. Dropped ball early on.
Savage, part of that first line midfield, the sophomore from Farmington, New York. And Navy the other way quickly.
Molly Doyle's going to run that ball all the way up the field. Looks like they're pushing a little transition here.
And they go low, and Wolf is ready. Keaney Gallagher getting the first shot on goal, and a save for the Wall of Baltimore.
Yeah, Katie trying to go 5-hole on that shot, and the Wall was there to make that big first save.
Yep. Molly Wolf, 13-5 on the year, giving up just over 8 goals a game, and Navy opportunistic on the ground ball situation.
Yeah, great effort redefending here. Navy's going to come up with the ball. Keaney Gallagher picking up that loose ball. It looks like Navy's really continuing that high-pressure defense, high-pressure ride that we saw in that semifinal game.
Amy Abdallah was the one to push her out. And Mids lose it, but there's a reason for it. Last touch by the Hounds. Jenna Collins, 4 goals in the semifinals. And coming in, 44 on the year on 93 shots. Julia isn't too bad either. 28 goals, 11 assists for the twin sister.
And right out the gate, Loyola looks to be in a zone defense. You can see number 10 on Loyola's defense kind of shadowing the ball in a backer-style defense here, which one of the goals of that is to try and eliminate some 1v1 challenges.
One of the mids loses a stick, and Wolf ready, ball up in the air. Just 2 minutes into this one. It was the Greyhounds earlier this year. 6-goal victory, won by 5 here. Around this same time at the Ridley Athletic Complex to go on to the tournament again. Through traffic, and now here come the Hounds again. Whiteford the one to bring it all the way through, bottom of the box. And now gonna take it herself.
That was a great 1v1 to Cage there, got over the top. The slide from the Navy defense just came a little bit late, and a great quick finish.
So Cammie Whiteford, what ends up being 2 minutes and 52 seconds into this opening half.
And Whiteford had a great first half, scored some of Loyola's early on goals in that semifinal game, so here we see her coming out strong.
Yep, couple for Cammie Whiteford. Ended up being a late surge for the Greyhounds, courtesy of Camellie, that ended up leading them the other night in the victory over Lehigh. It was just the 1-goal game after Julianne Durazio had the goal at the end of the first half. Get another look at this, and it's not the easiest angle coming across toward the middle of that zone.
It isn't, and Cammie Whiteford is the one natural lefty that's going to be on the offensive side of the ball for Loyola today. And so just going to, as a defender, you got to try and force her back to her weak hand, to her right side. She's really been able to do some damage with that left hand.
Back to the draw control circle we go. And violation on Tabasso. Sound possession awarded to Collins and company. And
we can see the refs are calling it tighter game right from the get-go. That second semifinal game on Friday night especially was one of the most physical games I've ever seen called, and we can see maybe in an attempt to keep this one safe and legal, the refs are pretty quick to blow the whistle so far.
Collins won the restart. This is Young. And gets the deflection, otherwise that might have been going down.
Great take to Cage. No, Loyola defenders were able to put a body on her. She's one of their quickest dodgers.
And Morgan Young, 6 hat tricks on the year. And a couple of them coming against ACC schools. But a turnover for the Mids. And taken away by Abdallah, the junior from Stevensville, Maryland.
That was a great read. Abdallah pushes transition here, and Loyola's able to get a quick 8-meter off of this.
This will be Keaney.
Keaney has a teammate to her left. I think that may be Powers.
But gonna go right in. Gets crafty with the stick.
Really creative backhanded shot on that one. Not quite a shovel shot. A little bit more skilled than your typical shovel shot, but really creative to shoot around the goalie. You can see she does a great job of digging in. Great first step off that 8-meter. Gets a great angle, a creative shot to shoot around that left-handed goalie.
I think it's safe to say Frankie Keaney likes postseason play.
Yeah, she's really doing a great job emerging as a really top threat on the offensive end. Looks like she's having fun out there playing loose.
We get a timeout on the field, 4:09 into this one. And Cindy Timchel wants to talk things over. Keaney, of course, Patriot League All-Academic team. First start of her career came back at the beginning of the year at number 7 Florida, and had more goals yesterday, the 7 goals that she did, than she did in all of last season.
Yeah, those 7 goals moved her up, I believe, to just 2 goals behind Blakeman on the year, which, 7 goals can do a lot for your stats.
Yep,
That's
certainly,
a lot of goals.
Certainly can, and I'm sure Jen Adams was, well, I know Jen Adams was happy to have her the other night when she stopped by in between semifinals. 2 shots, 2 goals so far for the Greyhounds, and the 8th of the tournament for Frankie Keaney. Coming out party indeed. Ended up matching the tournament record for single game goals with 7. Take one more look at it.
Great creative shot, especially against the lefty goalie. Was able to put it around her right side. And so far, it looks like Loyola's really found some success pushing the ball, playing high tempo, which is where they really thrive. Lehigh in the semifinal game did a great job of slowing them down, taking away any transition goals. But both of these first 2 goals for Loyola were creative out of pushing tempo in that offensive transition.
You were on the staff with Cindy Timchel. How much of that do they do?
Well, I think this year has been a very different year for them, and they've really opted to play a settled game. Really, Navy this year has not been known as a team who's going to really run and gun, and they really are selective when they decide to push the break.
Yeah, last year with Lauren Gennari spearheading, seemed like they did a little bit more than that, more of that, memory serves.
Yeah, Lauren was great about winning the draw and really pushing momentum right from that draw.
Draw control for the Greyhounds. And Clark is the one to take it through. Whiteford already with the 1 goal. Savage flirts with the cage and comes around to X. Stay bottom of the box. 1 from Keaney, 1 from Whiteford. That's been our scoring so far here in the Patriot League Championship. Kristen Wagbo, Matt Martucci.
Maddie Blakeman for Loyola was face guarded in their semifinal game. But tonight she's just being played straight up man-to-man, so it'll be interesting to see what she can create.
Boyum with a nice save on Tabasso. And now the mids will clear.
Lizzie Rowland showing some wheels here and confidence as she transitions the ball up the field, looking to just swing it to the weak side right now.
And between she and Doyle, 64 ground balls on the year. Like to cause turnovers too, 32 of them combined between the 2.
A lot of experience between those 2. They've played a lot of games in their careers.
This is O'Sullivan trying to get aggressive, but gets it poke checked away. But Young, the recipient of a fortuitous carom, and they'll reset.
Yeah, great effort to get that ball back. And Jenna's going to draw a shooting space. Julia is going to draw a shooting space call.
That's okay. Coach Timchel said she can't tell them apart either.
Beautiful finish.
So Collins connects. This time it's Julia getting things started.
And the Collins sisters are great shooters. They're really, really high shooting percentage from the 8-meter. You want to limit putting them on the line as much as possible. And you can see Julia here gets her head of her stick up nice and high and is able to finish on a nice high to low trajectory.
So off the free position, Collins is able to capitalize.
Great to get that first point on the board for Navy.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that, in terms of emotions, nerves, how much does that take away?
Yeah, you just need one. You just need that first one, to let your team kind of settle into things, know that it can be done. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be able to chip our way back. And now, it's just a 1-goal game, so it's still really early on.
Back to the draw control circle. Collins and Tabasso. Navy will occasionally use Julia Collins on some of these.
Yes, they will. They're kind of interchangeable between taking the draw as well as putting her on the circle. That's Jenna that's able to come up with that draw control.
And off the restart, nice roll dodge for her. And to play it into Young. And now, coming out of that timeout for Navy, you get the goal and you maybe start to feel a little bit better about where you are right now.
Yeah, they're just going to settle in. Loyola's still in their backer zone defense. So once you beat that first on-ball defender, you're going to have another one to beat, which you can see right there. Morgan Young having to dodge 2 defenders to try and get to cage there, and she draws that 8-meter.
So Young gets fouled. And this potentially good opportunity for her.
It's a pretty solid hash if she can get off the line quickly here.
Quickly is her middle name.
Oh, yeah, I have no worries about that.
And able to get in there on Wolf, but there to deny again. And dangerous attempt to go back at the goaltender.
Definitely, and Molly Wolf plays really, really high out on her crease on those 8 meters. So when you get in that close to the cage like Morgan was, you really got to see the goalie in place around her.
Clark gets hit, but able to get it up ahead, Van Thoff. Younger sister of the former 3-time All-American. It's Taylor Van Thoff, her sister Taryn, graduating a year ago, and as we said, on that 25th anniversary team. Quick feed, but...
Oh, that's a beautiful one-handed pickup by Tabasso off of that dropped ball from that missed feed.
And trying to set up Van Thoff, can't do it though, deep in traffic.
It was Andy O'Sullivan from Navy with that nice back check to come up with that caused turnover.
And now we get the restart. Marie Valenti, just a freshman from Bechtelsville, PA.
A little bit of physical play from Loyola, but it's good. Both teams wanting to kind of set the tone, set a physical tone from the get-go.
This is Hubley, part of that starting defensive unit. She'll get it going again off the restart, and the foul on the Greyhounds. And now Julia Collins can wait for the cavalry and sister Jenna. I like that Jenna Collins actually wears the red headband. It makes her more identifiable.
It does. It helps us out a little bit. Loyola's sinking back into a man-to-man defense here, so early on we've seen them change it up and go in and out of 2 defenses so far. Keeps the offense on its toes for sure, and it's hard to prepare for.
Young,
Whoa.
Tough feed, but somehow they find the back of the net. Wow. Andy O'Sullivan off the whirl and the quick assist for Young.
That was a great handle by Andy O'Sullivan. The pass was a little high there, but she was able to get a stick on it, turn, and finish.
Let's look at this. This is something. No, I got it.
That was tough. There were 3 Loyola defenders right there on her, but she was able to catch that in traffic. Great vision by Morgan Young to see her coming around the crease, or shooting down from the crease.
So 2 unanswered for the Mids. And the type of momentum that you want. One more look at it.
Quick shot, that was really a hard save for Molly Wolf to try and get to that shot. It came out of Andy O'Sullivan's stick really quick.
Just like you, right? It would have been catch and shoot.
Oh yeah. Immediate, lock and load.
I know you want to be out there right now.
I do. I'm antsy. I would rather be playing than commentating for sure, but it's really, really, really fun. I can't put words on playing in the post, how exciting it is to play in the postseason and live to see another day with your best friends.
And you get that abrupt feeling of knowing that it could end at any potential time.
And Tabasso showing in some crafty stick work and great wrist strength to come up with that one-handed grab on that draw control.
And she and O'Sullivan go down in a heap. And we'll restart.
And Maddie Blakeman loves being behind the cage where she is now. She uses her size and her height really well to shield the ball and keep her head up to look for cutters.
Set it up again. And they get the score.
And it's Keaney, you know, I think a majority of the year she was known as a really big off-ball threat, you know, catch and shooter, cutter, but now you can see she's become a lot more dynamic. She has a really nice 1v1 here. Great shot placement. Over the goalie's weak side shoulder. That's a tough one to get to.
Like I said, how was your weekend? No big deal. 9 goals in the Patriot League tournament. Ho hum.
Man, she continues to be excellent. What a great performance for her just as a sophomore.
Just able to use the speed and get by Blake Smith. So far, 3-2 in terms of draw controls, 3-2 up on the scoreboard. Greyhounds winning both. Five shots for Navy, 4 for the Greyhounds. 4 of Navy's 5 coming on goal. All 4 for Jen Adams' club have all but shots on goal.
Tabasso coming up with that initial draw control.
And now this is Van Thoff to run it through. Blakeman. Nice feed right out in front, but Boyum is ready.
A great save, and again, that was Keaney coming free off of that cut to take that shot. Loyola does a great job with their cutters, sending their cutters through in transition really hard to track, and especially when the defense is trying to get in and get settled and organized. Loyola attackers are always moving, making it hard.
Send it through again. Get it through down to the attack zone. So Keaney with a pair. Whiteford has the other one for the Greyhounds. And then Collins and O'Sullivan. Jenna Collins trying to split the double and draws the contact.
Yeah, Loyola was really quick to get that double team, almost a triple team to Collins on that drive. But benefits of just going really hard to cage like Jenna did is more than likely you're going to draw a foul.
So 8-meter coming up.
It's a great hash.
10 early fouls for the Greyhounds. Collins misses, but this is backed up.
Yeah, I think that was a good try and go high to the weak side on Wolf there. It was a good look at the cage.
Jenna Collins off the roll dodge, and we'll get another foul call.
They're going to call number 10, who's essentially that backer in their zone defense for a 3-second call, which now is a minor foul, so she just moves 5 yards to the outside.
And that's Taylor O'Connell, part of that starting defense. With the Anchoris and Amy Abdallah. That's their pride and joy, and of course Maddie Lesher. Bailey Mathis.
And you'll see Loyola being really aggressive on ball, almost playing to get beat and going for that back check because they know that they have that extra defender and Taylor O'Connell waiting at the 8-meter to double team the ball.
Young having trouble getting in, but a nice feed down there, right left of the cage. O'Sullivan back to Gallagher, quickly out in front, and we're going to get a foul first.
And that was great ball movement by Navy. One of the ways that you're going to beat any zone defense, especially a backer's defense, is by ball movement, quick ball movement, 2 to 3 passes out of a double team, get it to the weak side to the 2v1, which they're able to do.
Sets this up for Valenti, a little too high over the top of the pipe.
Navy testing Wolf high early on in this game. That's Maddie Lesher out on ball. So physical, really quick to go for those back checks.
And amazing how quick she is. Gallagher almost trying to keep up with the defender.
Definitely, and you see Loyola playing to get beat out on ball and go for that back check. It's puts the Navy attackers, offensive players, in a hard position when you know you have someone in front of you and a defender also chasing you from behind.
Young shut off very quickly. Good double on the slide for the Greyhounds. Collins flips it from the left hand to the right and gets through but can't connect.
Yeah, that was a great backup behind the net from Yanchoris to get that ball back for Loyola. Really great anticipation to see that the ball was going to miss the cage.
This is the All-Patriot second teamer. And they'll run it through with Clark. Young, though, being aggressive, playing both ends of the field. Navy adjust into a change, and Boyum with a good deflection.
Navy took a risk there and went for that back check, and it actually looks like she's going to be yellow carded for that, the dangerous check. So Valenti's going to come out of the game for at least 2 minutes. It looks like it's going to set Hannah Powers up with this 8-meter opportunity from the center hash. So she has her left side completely open to kind of move the goalie off her mark a little bit. She can veer to her left to get her right hand open.
And the bouncer, Boyum, though, gets a leg out.
And that was a great save.
Just 6 seconds into the card for Valenti.
So Loyola will get into their man-up offense here for just under 2 minutes.
Yep, 7 on 6. Blakeman sending it back behind. Whiteford. They did graduate a lot, but there's still so much to pay attention to. Good man down D, though, so far for the mids.
Definitely. Oh, that was tough. You know, they were doing a great job. Navy was doing a great job of taking away those inside threats and just recovering out to ball there off of a nice skip pass. Navy gets caught in shooting space.
And no angle. Whiteford with a nice feed in front, but deflected. Boyum has been a wall herself.
Yeah, and that's the perfect pass that you're going to look for in a man-up offense. Quick ball movement to an easy feed inside. They get that look again. Same look.
And this time they knock it down.
Hannah Savage with a great finish there.
So I'll push it now to 4-2 for the Greyhounds.
It was a pretty effective man-up offense. They got a few good looks at the cage in just a minute.
About 4 minutes and 23 seconds in between goals. Savage, that's actually a rare goal for her. Hasn't scored too many of them. Gets it done more by way of the assist in terms of the way her points are structured.
Yeah, and just great ball movement on the perimeter. Loyola did a great job of just showing when they were open on the inside and able to get that pretty pass inside the 8-meter for a finish.
Savage ended up becoming the first freshman in terms of this year's class to get a goal, or at least last year's. Got one at Colgate, only ended up having 2 last year, and that was her 3rd this year. It's already a better year.
Yeah, great, and a great timing for that 3rd goal to come in the Patriot League Championship game. Great draw, self-draw. by Jenna Collins.
And running it through the restraining area.
It looks like probably Navy's most likely on these possessions going to pull the ball out, see what defense Loyola's in so they can get themselves organized.
New stick, by the way, for Jenna Collins. Ended up getting one run onto her. Onto the field. And we get a violation, a foul on Loyola.
It's going to be a shooting space call. You can see that Loyola defender that was down by the crease was the one that was actually in shooting space. And Julia Collins is going to get this 8-meter.
And tough path right there, but Wolf is able to stop it.
And they're going to give the ball back to Navy. On this one, a little unclear what that call was.
Could have been something Wolf had done.
Yeah, I mean, she came outside of her crease on that one, but I'm not too sure what the call was. I wish the refs could have signaled that a little bit clearer.
I wish they wore microphones, to be completely honest.
I know. One thing I really appreciate about men's lacrosse is that the refs come over to the sideline. They signal the foul, you know, clearly communicate it to the coaches.
I think, though, you know as well as I do, if they had to do that here, we'd never get out of here.
Yep, you're true. This is right. In an attempt to speed up the game, that's probably not a good addition. And that's a shooting space call right there. Great ball movement by Navy to find Keaney Gallagher wide open on the weak side. We saw Keaney Gallagher from this 8-meter, similar 8-meter.
Here it is. She's got the softball batting stance.
Yep.
She was able to score that way the other night.
Yeah, she just took one step in and ripped it.
Honestly, still one of the more impressive things I've seen. How she was able to get a goal that way, I don't know. Another violation on the Greyhounds. Already double digits in terms of fouls on their side.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're looking for, is to get beat out there. If they get beat, it's not too huge of a consequence. They can go for that back check, and that backer is going to be there ready.
16 fouls on the game. Collins outside of 12. And that's going to be another one.
It happened outside of the 12 meters, so Jenna Collins could quick start this.
Inside of 15 minutes, clock continues to run. Greyhounds jumped out 2-0. Navy came back with 2 of its own. And then since, 2 unanswered for Jen Adams and company.
And you can see how quickly those Loyola defenders are covering out on ball. And there, the backer, number 10, Taylor O'Connell, was able to get a stick on that ball and calls the turnover.
Lasher plays it up ahead. And they'll work it out. Margaret Filippelli, who will play both ends of the field.
Cami Whiteford coming all the way down into the defensive end to get this ball.
And covers ground in a hurry. Savage able to get the possession started. More than halfway gone to the first half. If you're tuned in, glad that you are. With the Army head coach, Kristen Wagbo, Matt Martucci. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Hope that you're with your loved ones, your moms, your grandmothers.
Soon to be mother-in-laws.
Mm-hmm, true.
Added on that list.
I forgot about that.
I was thinking about that. I'm going to get a second mother soon. Loyola taking their time with this possession.
And I know you get along with her because you wouldn't have mentioned her otherwise.
I do. I love my soon-to-be mother-in-law a ton. She keeps things exciting. Never a dull moment.
We like to stir the pot here sometimes. 2-goal lead for the Greyhounds. This is Tabasso. Sends it over to Savage.
And Navy is in a zone defense now as well.
Almost looks like that's like a 2-3-2 alignment.
Yeah, more of a matchup zone, not quite a backer zone. And we've seen that skip pass to a shooting space call a few times so far for Loyola. They've done a great job executing that.
Clark off the bounce, 3-goal lead.
A nice early shot there, way to finish low. I think anytime you can execute a skip pass against his own defense, it's going to open up a lot of things. And in this instance, it was able to open up an 8-meter off of a shooting space, and a great finish there.
So Emily Clark ends up capitalizing on the free position opportunity, largest lead of the game for Jen Adams and company. And a 3-0 run now, 3 unanswered for the Greyhounds. We'll continue to do it under Jen Adams. Patriot League Championships, already 3 regular season titles.
You can see there, you know, probably the most passionate woman in the game,
Cindy
having
Timpsel.
a word with the officials.
So far, we're 18 minutes and 12 seconds into outrageous Navy women's lacrosse.
Yep. It's going to take 60 minutes or more, Matt.
That's right, I forgot. We talked about that the other night. You have to add overtime.
Yep. You got to prepare for overtime, plan for overtime.
Clark able to gather the draw control. After Mathis able to get it through.
Navy back in man-to-man.
I was going to say, this is a trying next couple of minutes for them.
Definitely, and they're just going to call a quick 3 seconds here. On Jenna Collins, so minor foul. She's just going to go to the side.
Tabasso and Whiteford. Tabasso the one to play it. This is Blakeman, who we haven't heard much from just yet.
And Navy's actually opting to stay in that zone defense, that matchup zone defense. And you can see, different than Loyola's defense, pressure just a little bit out to the 12, whereas Loyola is absolutely flying out on ball to get that high pressure on ball. Looks like Navy's just more concerned about taking away the inside threats here.
If you were coaching these next 10 minutes, if you're on the Navy side of things, well, what's your goal as Boyum comes up with a good deflection?
I think they've got the right idea by throwing a different look defensively, trying to protect the middle here, try and create a contested shot to make that save and get the ball back to their offense.
Smith on the scrum for the ground ball. And going to get a call against her, it looks like. Greyhounds waste no time, and Boyum steps out right at the right moment to deny.
Great save, and Loyola was in their element there, pushing that transition off of that whistle.
But back they come, they never quit. Tabasso walking right into a double team.
And a team like Loyola, who has great stick work, they're great finesse players, great finishers. Against the zone, they're most likely just going to look for that easy pass. They're going to continue to work the ball patiently around and wait to spring open one of their big players in the middle. They've got Maddie Blakeman on the inside right now.
It's funny, I see all these sticks in the air. I almost think a hands up in a basketball zone.
Exactly. The Navy defenders are trying to take up as much space as possible, get in as many passing lanes to take away those passes.
Tabasso, nice feed, and it's Blakeman who gets denied.
Boyum is making some ridiculous saves, right? Really keeping Navy in it.
Look at the foul call. And an 8-meter coming from a pretty good position for Tabasso.
Definitely. She's an explosive player.
Get the start, and there's the explosion.
Beautiful finish. Changes the level on her shot, drops her stick down a little bit about knee level, and is able to make that shot rise a little bit. And finishes on Boyum's weak side. And that shot had some really, really good pace on it. Really tough save, but Boyum had some awesome saves in that defensive set for Navy.
9:02 to play here in the first half. It's Sabrina Tabasso and the Loyola Greyhounds have now pushed their lead to what's 4 goals here in our Patriot League Women's Lacrosse Championship. The Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. Well, that's why we're here. The Patriot League Women's Lacrosse Championship. 4-goal lead for the Loyola Greyhounds after Sabrina Tabasso getting them yet another one. Look at the emotion and the passion from Cindy Timchel.
Cindy urging her team on to win this draw. I think if she could win it, she would. The ref telling her to step off the field there. She was a little excited.
Just like you, Coach,
Yep.
I don't think Cindy has any eligibility left. Never graduate.
No, you never graduate from the game.
Collins and Tabasso again. 3 free position goals. 1 off an extra man as well.
It's Lesher that's going to come up with that draw control, and that was great effort by her. Navy, one of the great things about Navy with their draw team is they have some really, really good height, and Lesher definitely outmatched height-wise on that, but definitely not grit and feisty-wise.
Here comes the other Maddie, talented at this end. Maddie Blakeman. Back to the top of the zone. Nice move to get in between 3 and find the back of the net. That's Powers.
And she really stuck with that play. You know, the flag was clearly up after she dodged one of those first defenders, but really stuck with it to finish. Continues to move her feet, continued to cradle and protect her stick, and gets through 3 defenders there for a great finish.
Five unanswered for the Greyhounds since it was 2-2. That was the 21-29 mark. Andy O'Sullivan. So in the last 13 minutes, 6 seconds, Jen Adams' Greyhounds have really turned it on.
Yeah, and this puts them in a great position to start just playing a little bit looser. You know, you'll see Loyola start to push the break, be a little bit more relaxed with this 5-goal lead.
Powers, by the way, taking a good shot to the eye after that. Seems to be okay.
Definitely. I think the refs could have maybe called a foul on that shot, which would have resulted in a Loyola draw or Loyola ball. But another illegal procedure here. Maybe a false start is going to give Jenna Collins this draw control.
And it's been a while since we've been down at this end of the field.
It has. This is going to be a really key possession for the mids to execute this offense, especially if Loyola drops back into their backer zone.
And Doyle couldn't quite judge the trajectory of that ball.
And great effort by, I believe that was Hubli. Good second effort to get that ball back. Oh, and that's Camley who sticks with the play, goes for that immediate back check.
I think that's the amazing thing on both sides, just the amount of hustle. Neither of these two teams, they never quit on plays.
No, and that's a big adjustment when players get to the college game out of high school, is you have to play as if you always have someone on your back that's hungry to get the ball back. It's a different, you have to operate at a different speed, a different level.
How long did it take you to adjust?
Oh, well, if you ask my head coach, Kirsten Kimmel, she would probably say it took me too long. I got a lot of, Wagbo, move your feet, move your feet. comments.
Now, how much of that, though, is in your coaching style now?
Oh, a lot.
A lot,
that's
right?
one thing you have to accept early on is you're going to be asking your players to do things. And you want them to do them earlier on in their career and want them to do them better and more consistently than you actually were ever able to do. So sometimes I laugh at myself.
You almost can't believe what you're asking of people, right?
Exactly.
Under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Greyhounds have never trailed in this game. Jumped out 2-0. Navy eventually got the tie. But time of possession has gone by the wayside, I think.
Definitely, and Navy's dropped back into their man-to-man defense here. You can see them sending some quick double teams to the ball to try and deter the 1v1s from a high.
Heavy amounts of Greyhounds possessions. That's what we've had mostly over the course of these last 13, 14 minutes.
And there was a good attempt to get out on the ball there and try and force a turnover. Unfortunately, Keaney was pushed out of bounds by that Navy defender.
Yeah, that's
Doyle.
Keaney off the restart. Looking for a cutter. It's Keaney, the catch and shoot. And boy, a great save.
And that was a great give and go there by Loyola. It was pretty fun to watch just to see them get creative off of that 2v1 from behind they had.
Frankie Keaney on another level this weekend.
And Andy O'Sullivan taking that ball really hard down the field and was able to draw that foul.
Can't say I've seen, not that I've necessarily done dozens and dozens of women's lacrosse games, but can't say I've seen too many lob passes to the front of the net like that. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, she just put that one up to space and really trusted Keaney to get to the ball and really trusted her teammates' skills. And that's fun. That's a fun way to play when you have that much trust in your teammates.
Turnover for the Mids.
And another
yeah, get it right
turnover,
back though.
Yep.
Maybe this is an opportunity. Gallagher on the run. And that's how quickly the double comes and the closeout.
It is. What looked like, maybe Gallagher could have pushed tempo there and had a 2v1 or, 1v9. Loyola closed that in on that double really quickly.
And I would think being down the way you are, as Gallagher pings this one off of Wolf, you probably have to take advantage of those opportunities when you have them.
You do. I think that, it was a smart decision ultimately for her to pull it out. And, that was a great shot by Katie to, that's pretty textbook Keaney Gallagher to throw that fake low and try and shoot a riser.
Great play, Andy! Great job, Andy!
Tough day so far for Cindy Timchel's Mids.
Tough, and when a defense, Loyola's defense is playing so high pressure, and you just have to be really composed with the ball. You have to be willing to work really hard to create shots on the offensive end, which is sometimes a really hard thing to do. You just have to work really, really hard against this defense.
This is Powers. Cut off on the angle. Doyle with a nice recovery, but there's
she's
a
going to
reason
get a
for
yellow
that.
card for
Yep.
that. Probably the ref just thinks that push was a little excessive. And you see that a lot in the women's game. I saw more this year that, typically you used to think yellow cards, you're going to come off the field if you have a check towards the head or a check to the head. But referees are calling a lot of these on-body fouls and upgrading them to yellow cards this year as well.
Greyhounds call timeout. 4:32 to go here in the first. And we will take one, too. Loyola with 5 unanswered now at this point. Here with the Patriot League Women's Lacrosse Championship. Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. Festive atmosphere here at the Ridley Athletic Complex. I'm jealous that they're that young.
Yeah, there are some good Bruno Mars coming out of the speakers right now.
Can you remember when you were that young?
No.
Nah, neither can I.
But I do remember having so much energy. And, my parents couldn't peel me off of a basketball court or lacrosse field.
And it's followed you. later in life.
It has.
Speaking of energy, lots of it from both sides. But lately, the Greyhound offense, a lot of time of possession and a lot of opportunities. Ingrid Boyum has made a lot of saves, 6 of them for the Navy keeper, but a lot more shots and a lot more opportunities equals more chances and scores. And in these final 4.5 minutes, now a man advantage for the next 2.
Definitely. So Loyola will look to just move the ball around, probably take a little bit of time off the clock here and look for that opening in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, how much of the second half, when you walk into the second half with a 5-goal lead potentially, how much of that becomes stall lacrosse?
I think with Loyola, they're going to still, kind of go foot on the gas pedal. I think they have the ability to continue pushing the ball. It's a really hard place to be in sometimes. If you start stalling too early, your players can get really relaxed and almost too complacent. Yep. So I have a feeling that Jen Adams is going to keep empowering them to be really confident, be aggressive.
Balanced attack today, as it has been all year. And that's what Jen Adams would tell you about her club. You know, they like to spread it around. Camely, Whiteford, Savage, Clark, Powers, Tabasso, all on the board today.
You can see Loyola attacking players starting to migrate towards that middle of the 8-meter. They're going to start to look to create some opportunities here. You can see Boyum being really active outside the cage to try and pick off those passes to X.
Blakeman sending cross zone. Whiteford. And shooting space violation.
They're actually going to call that on Valenti, who was lower on the crease.
And Blakeman going to get a shot at this 8-meter. But they want to run a little more clock, it would appear.
Definitely, and just 15 seconds left on this man-up advantage. And they get what they wanted.
And there it is.
And Whiteford finds, I believe that was Van Thoff in the middle. Again, just a great target, and that was awesome composure to realize that when she caught that ball, she was alone in the 8-meter, had time to throw that fake and finish.
6th goal of the year for the freshman from Livonia, New York.
Great ball movement. That was a great finish. Fake low, finish high to the goalie's weak side. I think with Loyola's great stick work and composure, that's really the look that they were looking for.
There's Taylor Van Thoff. Gonna carve out the start to her own college career. And now she can say that she scored in the Patriot League tournament.
Yeah, it's really probably refreshing for Loyola. We're seeing some new faces, emerge in this game, some different scores than we saw in that semifinal game. Everybody's really sharing the ball.
7 now different players have accounted for 8 goals. And Frankie Camely, who has suddenly turned into the, albeit offensive leader of this team, leads them with 2 so far today. Get the win out at the circle.
And Meg O'Donnell is the recipient of that draw control, just a freshman coming into the game for the Mids.
Our statistician, Dan O'Connell, points out that it's back on March 19th. This was the exact same score that we had as a final. And that's how quickly of a start that the Greyhounds have come out in the first 28 minutes.
And so Loyola still remaining in that backer zone.
And they find it, though, right on the doorstep. Give Collins the assist.
And that was Meg O'Donnell on the finish, right off the bench into the game, able to make it a quick impact.
20th of the year for O'Donnell, who's just a freshman from Forest Hill, Maryland. Stick passes the test, and it quells a 6-0 run by the Greyhounds.
And O'Donnell has really had a strong finish to the season. Just a freshman, really emerged towards the later half of the season, right around Patriot League play, which was a great boost for the mids.
Molly Wolf, I'm not sure if she was unhappy at the fact that she gave up the goal, or the fact that the ball got in there in the middle of that, or maybe it was just both.
Yeah, goalies are typically known for showing some emotion, and it just went right by her stick, so it's probably just a little bit of frustration. She was really close on that one.
Every now and then the wall, you get a brick out of the wall.
Exactly.
First goal in almost 20 minutes, though, for the mids.
Keaney went early on that draw. Ball will be awarded to Jenna Collins. I think that's a few false starts now for Loyola, which just too easy for the mids to get the ball.
Now, what's your strategy here? What are you trying to accomplish over the next 2 minutes, other than maybe getting another goal on the board?
I think you need to rely on solid ball movement, especially if Loyola is going to go into their backer zone. You have to be composed with the ball, have your head up, try and get that ball to the weak side. And Loyola is going to send their backer to the ball and head into their backer zone right now. Anytime you see number 10, Taylor O'Connell for the Greyhounds, kind of start to play around that 8 meter where she is now, you know that Loyola is sinking into their zone. And so far, this is great ball movement. Just got to be nice and sharp with the ball.
And they continue to be. They get it to Collins.
Ooh.
And some contact.
That's
a charging call.
That was a tough call. You know, you did see a little bit of extension from that Loyola defender, but.
And good anticipation, though, by the mids.
Tabasso coming out of that scrum with the ball. Just goes hard and is able to draw that foul.
Trouble off the restart for Mathis. But they get out of it. Savage inside of a minute to go. She's already scored 1 today. One of the 7 that have found the net.
So this is going to give Loyola a great opportunity to get the last shot of the half, which is a great place to be.
Tabasso.
Going to look to isolate Tabasso on that.
And the feed. Blakeman gets denied on the doorstep, but guess what? Foul coming. Shooting space violation.
Yeah, that was a great draw and dump. Tabasso drove really hard, drew that double team off of Blakeman. Blakeman used her size really well to provide a great target. And now she'll get an 8 meter.
Blakeman scores. With 12.6 to go.
Yeah, and definitely not the outcome Navy hoped for on that last defensive stand. Here again is Loyola just with a really creative stick work, able to drop her stick low. She takes that shot. Blakeman shoots almost from her ankles.
8th different Greyhound now to find the board.
They've got a lot of threats. It's a lot to handle down there on the defensive end for Navy.
And this, we get one more look at it. 4th free position goal of the game.
Yeah, and Boyum just can't get her stick down there quick enough. Blakeman put a lot of power on that shot as well.
Going to take quite an effort in the second half.
Definitely, but you're never down by too many goals to be out of the fight. Firm believer in that.
I like it, Coach. Last 8 seconds.
She can get this ball and kind of throw it down the field. She's got 2 options in Keaney Gallagher and Morgan Young. And see if they can try and get a shot off in this 5 seconds.
Collins quickly getting it. And they do get the shot off. as O'Donnell was able to get one, but Wolf right there. And that's how our first half will end. 8 different Loyola Greyhounds finding the board, led by a pair of goals from Frankie Cameli. They're up by 6 going into the break. And all kinds of scoring. That was Powers. And of course, Cameli, who's been the star of the tournament so far. Greyhounds walk into the break up by 6. Here in our Women's Lacrosse Championship on the Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. Loyola by 6, halftime here in our Patriot League Women's Lacrosse Championship. 8 different Greyhounds have found the board, and everybody's made their way out here on this Sunday afternoon to watch the game. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, especially the ones that produced some of our great firefighters, putting their lives on the line every day. And City of Baltimore, one of the engine companies out there to come out and see the game. And let's take a look at what's gotten us to this 9-3 lead. First half highlights for the Greyhounds. And everybody all fired up to get this started, even the Hound himself, waving the flag proudly. Cindy Timchel and the mids. Tough start for them early on, as the Greyhounds, Frankie Cameli picking up right where she left off with the scoop to the one side that made it 2-0. Navy would come back, Collins would get one, and then look at this feed from Young to Andy O'Sullivan, the whirling dervish, and the score to tie it at 2 apiece. But then this is where the flurry of goals would start for the Greyhounds. What would be 6 unanswered eventually. Blakeman behind the cage with the excellent feed out in front. But Boyum would come up with a couple of saves. A bunch of key ones, but just too many opportunities for the Greyhounds in the first half. There's Van Thoff late. Before they finally get one more, does Navy. O'Donnell to make it a 6-goal game. Or a 5-goal game, but then Navy on the wrong end of that one. And the Greyhounds go up by 6 again. +6 on shots. +7 shots on goal. More fouls, more aggressive style of play. But if you look at it, Coach, Greyhounds are winning the battle all the way around.
Definitely, and that you can see it is a physical game. 25 fouls at half. I mean, they're on pace to have a 50-foul game on both Navy and Loyola, high in the fouls. But, you know, it's a championship, so it's to be expected. I think you also, one of the stats that stands out is obviously Loyola's shooting 50% right now. Navy just shooting 25%. So Loyola certainly, you know, making the most out of their possessions. A lot of people helping out on their offensive end.
See if the second half is any different after the mids getting their halftime pep talk from Cindy Timchel. I'm sure those are usually pretty inspired, right? There's a lot of energy to those.
There is a lot of energy behind Cindy's halftime talks or pregame talks. You never know what she's going to talk about, which is always exciting. And good start already here for the midshipmen as they win that first draw.
Collins playing it back to Rulin.
And so far, you know, one of the things that plagued Navy in their first matchup against Loyola this season was the turnovers. I believe Navy turned the ball over 23 times in that game. In the first half of this game, Navy only turning the ball over 6 times. So that's one of the bright spots they have to be happy about, is they are doing a better job taking care of the ball. They're just going to have to maximize their possessions and finish on their shots.
To Collins playing catch. This is Julia with a nice roll dodge. Nice cut, but unfortunately the fan on the shot from O'Donnell. Or O'Sullivan, I should say.
And there was a great look to open up the first half. O'Donnell slashed from the weak side into the middle of the 8-meter, and Collins found her. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to connect on that feed. It was O'Sullivan, sorry, who slashed from the weak side to the middle.
We gotta get our O's right.
I know.
Scoop shot, and that is O'Donnell, who had the goal late to make it 8-3. But then Greyhounds came back with another one. And Navy will get the restart. This will be O'Donnell to play it in with Gallagher back there at X. Quiet day so far for Keaney Gallagher. Trying to get the first team All-Patriot League selection going. Really quiet day all the way around. Jenna Collins has had it tough too. They've done a really good job of just completely taking her out of the offense.
Definitely. Oh, and there's Keaney Gallagher with that lefty crease roll. Gets a little hit at the end. She's pretty slow to get up.
Yeah, she likes that wraparound. Saw that a couple times the other night at the opposite end of the field.
Definitely, she's really sneaky from behind the cage there. She likes to get those low-angle shots at GLE, which she's able to do because majority of the time she's changing up her level and really gets that goalie to bite.
Collins with a couple of nice dodges. Lost the ball, though, and a turnover for Navy. Guess who took it away? Maddie Lesher coming through. And Blakeman can bring it into the offensive zone. Savage running on the change. But they lose it out of bounds. Blakeman couldn't handle it. Turnover to Loyola.
This Loyola defense is really working Navy's attack really hard here. And one thing just realizing is that Navy has not subbed anybody off the bench yet in this game. And Loyola just subbing 3 players in. So will be an interesting test of endurance here at the end of the game.
O'Donnell going to run this, make it O'Sullivan again, going to run this through. The freshman from Valley Cottage, New York. Had her 8th goal of the year in the first half. Good opening year in Annapolis for her. That's the thing. There's still a good amount of youth on this Navy team in terms of, you know, what's going to be coming back.
Definitely, they are going to be returning a lot of firepower, a lot of athleticism next year. Unfortunately for me, but looking forward to some really good battles in the future.
Yeah, you pointed out, plus from the Greyhound side of things, Frankie Camely has another 2 years. So
I know.
That should be fun to contend with for the rest of the league.
And from what it seems like at the end of her sophomore year is setting up probably a good start to her junior year next year. She'll probably return with a lot of confidence after how she's played in this tournament.
Foul coming on the Greyhounds. And Collins took a shot. Actually ended up holding the bottom of her mouth.
Navy would like to see her finish on this. She's got her right side fairly free here to take some time and take a good shot.
Collins on Wolf and wide and out.
Yen Choris again, she's really sneaky and smart back there and how she's able to play that shot to get the ball back. Just outsmarts Gallagher a little bit back there.
And now Wolf going to take her time with the clear. And the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Maddie Lesher.
And Cami Whiteford again coming all the way up the field into the defensive end to get that ball. She's done that a few times this game and really been able to leave her mark on the offensive transition for Loyola.
Powers draws the double.
And Navy giving Loyola a little bit of taste of their own medicine there, able to double team the ball really aggressively.
But tough clear for Boyum. That's a dangerous attempt. But it ends up working out off the carom. And Valenti going to run it through the midfield area.
And that's going to be an on-ball foul by Tabasso, just getting a little too aggressive there with the body pressure.
Valenti to the top of the point.
You know, Navy obviously had the halftime to kind of work through their offense and what they're going to look to do against this backer defense. So looks like they're being a little bit more schematic about what they're doing.
Greyhound defense has made it tough all day. Only 3 goals on 16 shots for Navy, converting 18%. 9 goals, 18 shots for the Greyhounds. Young trying to change that. This one gets deflected and out.
Yeah, Navy looking to really take the ball 1v1 against this zone.
Had a good feed right in the middle of the zone.
Yeah, that was a good attempted feed, maybe just a little bit low to Valenti's left hand.
O'Donnell chases it down. Young, excellent speed, and the score.
And beautiful, right. From the start of this half, Navy really aggressively attacking the zone 1v1 from up top with some of their big dogs in the Collins and Young.
And we'll see if this opens it up.
And you can see once Morgan Young gets going, she's really hard to stop, especially because of her she's smaller in size, and those defenders are really going to have to slide low to her body in order to slow her down.
And you can tell there's a little bit of fire with Morgan Young. Scored that goal. It was almost dropping the stick with authority. Drop the mic kind of mentality.
Yeah, you know, people who don't watch women's lacrosse probably think that they're purposefully throwing their sticks as an act of celebration. Obviously, it's a rule in women's lacrosse that after every goal, you have to immediately, the goal scorer must immediately drop their stick. But in our game, it has turned into a little bit of a mic drop celebration. A lot of people finding ways to incorporate that, you know, relinquishment of the stick into a celebration.
And Morgan Young does it pretty well. And change at the circle.
And
that's
big
Bailey
time
Mathis.
here.
Bailey Mathis, the one taking that one for the Greyhounds, but a win for Navy.
Yeah, Hubley coming off of that defensive line to field that draw control, which was a big one.
Now, if you can get this to a 3-goal game in over the course of probably between the next 5 and 10 minutes, could make things a little bit interesting for that last 15 minutes or so.
Definitely.
Collins can't maintain, but we get a foul call.
You see that aggressive on-ball defense paying off for Loyola as they're able to get off yet another back check. And like I said in the first half, it just puts a lot of pressure on the ball carrier. When they do beat that on-ball defender, you really have to bring your stick in front of you and protect your stick, or else you're leaving it open to a back check.
Lesher right up that sideline and through the boxes. And we get a call on Valenti.
You hear a little bit of a boo from the stands. Some of the spectators disagree with that call.
Saw some of the mids out there in their whites, right?
Yeah, it looks like there's a naval officer down there on the sideline in his summer whites, which always look nice and fresh. There he is. Very Top Gun. We were talking about this before the game.
See, you say Top Gun. I say I'm more a few good men.
See, it makes me want to put on like the song "Playing with the Boys" and like, you know, play some beach volleyball. That's what that reminds me of.
There you go.
Dana Doby talking to one of her players, giving her instruction as she comes off the field.
Taylor O'Connell down there in that first line defense. 8 minutes gone by here in the second half. And the man-up opportunity for the Greyhounds. About halfway gone, a minute 15 or so left. Clark and Blakeman going to play catch for a little bit.
Yeah, really going to rely on this perimeter ball movement to spring open their inside players. Loyola does great, you know, kind of a less is more mentality. Their players in the middle, they're not doing too much. They're just showing back to the ball and realizing when their defenders start to pass them off in the middle, just well-timed show backs to the ball.
Could there be more movement here?
There could be, but at the same time, you know, the perimeter ball movement, I think they're going to start to get into a little bit more ball movement here. I think they're just working the clock a little bit.
And now it starts. Looking at Camely moving toward the middle of that zone, cutting in and out.
A beautiful skip pass.
Blakeman, and they get the bounce shot, the assist to Maddie Blakeman, and it's Whiteford to convert.
And that's where having great stick work, is an awesome thing to have on your side. Cami Whiteford able to handle a pretty tough pass to her weak side there, almost like a goalie save to catch that ball and finish.
Wow, how did she come up with that?
Quick hands, really quick hands.
Had to really adjust on the fly.
And that's fun. That's really fun when you can give your teammate a bad pass and they're able to do something with it.
First shot of the second half. We said efficiency.
Definitely. Quick hands to catch that pass and then a quick release.
So now 10 goals for the Greyhounds on what's 19 shots. 16 of them have been on goal.
It looks like they're putting Van Thoff on the draw here against Jenna Collins. And Navy is going to call a stick check, probably a full stick check on Loyola's drawler. So we're seeing a little back and forth here, calling stick checks on each other's draw specialist. So the refs are going to take that stick to the sideline and give it a look.
How much of this do you think is rest for Tabasso? The fact that they're starting to vary it up?
Yeah, I'm trying to think where, I guess Tabasso is off the field or she's behind the line right now. Tabasso is a player that having her come off the line, aggressively attack the draw control behind the line is a great look for her as well, just as well as taking it. With Van Thoff on the draw, it just gives Loyola a little bit more height. Jenna Collins does have some really good height on the draw, so it may be a better just size matchup. However, I thought Tabasso, for having maybe a little bit, less height than Jenna Collins, I think Tabasso really used her reach, really used her extension to have some one-hand grabs in that first half.
Played almost 9 minutes in the second half as they check out this stick. We get a little Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle over the PA.
I believe when that played on Friday night, that was when the clouds were rolling in. I vividly remember it, and it was a kind of a cool moment.
Return tour this year for Axl Rose and company.
It's a crowd pleaser, I guess.
Mm-hmm. There may or may not be a concert in July, which some of us could be attending in Philadelphia.
You already have tickets?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Looking forward to seeing the band get back together.
And you see, kind of out on the field, you see the teams just kind of huddling up in different groups. Unfortunately, during these kind of stops in play, the coaches of each team are not allowed to coach their team. So you see the team kind of huddling it up and coaching themselves, maybe talking a little strategy.
Cindy Timchel, you just saw former Duke men's player Josh Dion, out of frame now, but an assistant coach at Navy.
Yeah, and it's great to see him. I love how the men's game translates over to the women's game, and undoubtedly he's really kind of brought some fun principles to the Navy women's lacrosse team that have benefited them.
It does a good job typically working with their offensive players.
He does, and Josh Dion had an amazing coach at Duke, and John Danowski won multiple national championships in just his short time at Duke, and Josh was a great player there. So undoubtedly implementing some of those awesome lessons he learned from being coached by one of the best in John Danowski.
Stick is passed. And Jenna Collins and Van Thoff having a word. I think trying to make light of a difficult situation where you have to stand around and wait.
Definitely. And I feel like after being a coach of both Navy and the Army women's lacrosse programs, I think sometimes the players out there, opponents do ask them a lot of questions just about their life in the military, or they're kind of inquisitive as to what their difference in lifestyle is.
And talking to BU head coach Liz Robertshaw the other day, that was one of the biggest compliments she had about Jenna Collins. You can already see that as a sophomore, she's a big time leader.
Definitely.
Not just with the scoring she does, but the way that she helps her teammates and the energy that she brings to the game. She said whatever she ends up doing in terms of any type of service commitment, they're going to get a good one.
Definitely, and I've had the pleasure of knowing the Collins. I was able to recruit them, and they're just amazing young women. They're very lighthearted, but the absolute fiercest competitors. and they are going to be great leaders and great officers.
Tabasso flirting with 8. They get the fake on the windup and shooting space violation on the mids.
And it looks like they're actually going to call that shooting space on, I believe it's Blake Smith down there. And so this presents a really great opportunity for Loyola. They have a attacker, I believe it's Keaney, right open on the crease, so you know that's a dangerous position to be in.
This is Filippelli to trigger it. Yeah, and started early.
And that may have actually been a purposeful false start by the mids to try and get a defender, which they were able to sneak Jenna Collins down there on Keaney, which would have otherwise been a wide open pass down to the crease.
That's tricky.
It is. I've definitely seen that one done before, so you can even see the refs are having a little bit of difficulty figuring this one out. They're going to probably huddle it up and meet about it.
And they are.
But it was smart. Jenna Collins did get to the other side of the crease, and they are going to award that smart defensive play by allowing Jenna Collins to stay down there on Keaney.
Filippelli for the second time.
Filippelli now does have a great lane for herself, though, to the right side, but is going to opt not to take that 8-meter.
They elect to go clock with Tabasso. Whiteford with the nice dodge and then the back out. Back up to the top of the point, Tabasso. Under 20 minutes to go, third of the way through this second half. Greyhounds have never trailed in this one. Been up since Whiteford got it started. Closest Navy has been is a 2-2 tie.
It looks like Loyola just moving the ball around here, kind of exploring some 1v1s. They have Blakeman posted up in the middle in the event that they can draw a double team off of her.
Tabasso gets the dodge, but draws the double on the slide. Nice cut, and they get it down to the doorstep, but there's a foul called on Navy.
And that was a well-executed offensive set for Loyola. They put 2 stacks on each wing and were able to kind of work a little draw and dump situation on the elbows.
Another 8-meter. Tabasso on Smith. Filippelli shut off. Good defense by Rulin.
Great defense. The mids are sending quick doubles to Loyola's top threats, doing a really good job of containing their 1v1s.
Doyle doing a nice job on a couple of slides. Now matched up with Whiteford again.
Definitely, and Doyle taking away Whiteford's left hand on that, doing a great job.
She is one of the ones that they will graduate. Molly Doyle. Council Rock North product, just outside of Philadelphia. And going down in a heap, Tabasso.
It is actually, it looks like the referee is pointing up the field towards Navy. So it looks like she called a charge on Tabasso on that drive, so Navy's going to be awarded the ball.
And Rowland will restart it. Fairly even second half. That's what we've been treated to so far. But unfortunately for the mids, got themselves in that 6-goal hole. Tough to work their way out of this, especially with the way that Loyola can possess the ball when it needs to.
Definitely, and Molly Doyle, a low defender for Navy, doing a great job taking upon herself to get that ball over the line and handled a lot of pressure. She did so.
Young has Navy's lone tally of the second half. Whiteford has the 1 for Loyola, and Wolf with the good stop.
Yeah, that was a fairly easy save for Wolf. She was out nice and high at her crease, and that ball was shot at her feet, which is actually a strong point for most goalies.
What has been 55 fouls between these two teams. Had a good amount of stoppages today. Not letting quite as much go as they were in the second semifinal the other night.
No, this game is definitely being called a little bit tighter. We have a few yellow cards already on the day.
And Powers takes a shot. Tabasso drawing the ire of Jenna Collins.
And Loyola has so many great players with the ball, but I think I've mentioned it a few times, but one of their strongest points is just their ability to move without the ball. Their off-ball players are very sneaky and very savvy, and it's really fun to watch. I think your eye can get drawn a lot to the ball carrier, but what they're able to do off-ball in terms of keeping their defenders occupied, and as soon as their defenders turn their head, they'll slip behind them for a nice cut.
Blakeman spins it back. Good ball movement coming from Savage and Whiteford. Whiteford played by Hubley. Tabasso, nice dodge in on Collins.
Yeah, you can see great footwork on that dodge. She set herself up for a nice split to the inside. Defenders played it really well and were able to remain goal side on her, so she pulled out on that dodge. But Loyola playing a really patient brand of lacrosse right now, which they're in the position to do so.
And this one getting away from Tabasso.
And that was a great play by Jenna Collins to stay with it. Tabasso kept the ball in, and Collins was right on her back, ready to pick that ground ball up.
Well, you would think down 6, halfway point of the second half, it's kind of now or never.
It is. And you saw Keaney Gallagher take a pretty, a shot with, minimal time into their offensive possession. So it's kind of becoming that hard place to balance for the midshipmen, where they need to put some goals on the board. But, against Loyola's defense, you have to work hard and be willing to work for a long amount of time to be able to create those good shots. So just going to have to move with a purpose here.
Miscommunication on the pass to Young, and it ended up sailing. But they got it back, and foul called on the Greyhounds.
And that's Maddie Lesher all over Jenna Collins on that one.
Young, nice feed, and the bounce shot and score.
That was great, and that was a nice feed to the inside to Andy O'Sullivan. Andy O'Sullivan really finding ways to make an impact in this game.
Second one of the game for Andy O'Sullivan. And kind of almost a similar play. Just caught the catch in the middle of the zone and the whirl.
Definitely, very reminiscent of her goal in the first half. Just a catch and shoot type of situation.
We're halfway through this second half. Navy trying to make one last run to get back into this game. It's the Mids trailing by 5 here with the Patriot League Women's Lacrosse Championship. You're watching the Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. Get the best of college sports first, including early Patriot League football previews from Campus Insiders. Follow Campus Insiders on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and by liking the Campus Insiders Facebook page. Be the first to tell your friends what's happening in the world of college sports, both on and off the field, with Campus Insiders. And, of course, some of our loyal firefighters who follow Campus Insiders on all kinds of the social media apps. Watching the Greyhounds potentially go for what is going to be, if they're able to hold on here, their third straight Patriot League tournament title. Lesher taking a shot on the hand during that scrum. And possession will stay with Navy.
Great handle there by Andy O'Sullivan as she streaks into the offensive end and looks to get their offense set up.
And she would be the one to do it. It's been the most consistent of any one of their offensive players today. they have a late flurry in them? That's the question for Cindy Timchel's mids. Nice dodge for Jenna Collins. But the communication on Loyola's defense is so good.
Yeah, they all operate on a rope. When one slides, the other one slides with them. They play a great brand of team defense.
Nice cut, though, for Young, curling and scoring.
It was a beautiful, beautiful look and a great finish by Young.
Second one of the game. Both of them have come in this second half for Morgan Young.
It was just a great quick release on her shot. She was able to get open inside the 8-meter. Molly Wolf couldn't quite get to that stick side shot.
It's easy to pick her up, right, when she jumps up in the air.
Oh, yeah, I call those koalas. Some of us are the tree and some are the koalas. Morgan Young's a koala. I'm a tree. At 6 foot, I'm the tree.
She fits in your pocket, right?
Yep.
Always amazed, though, at what Morgan Young can do out on the lacrosse field. Very, very impressive.
Definitely, and I think she's most known for her abilities with the ball in terms of her dodging abilities, and you see her there be an off-ball threat as well, kind of diversifying her game.
Chalk up the first 16 minutes, 20 seconds to the mids, outscoring Loyola in this second half 3-1. Tabasso and Collins.
And that was a great effort by Hubley to keep that ball alive, keep that ground ball alive, and ultimately ended up in Julia Collins' stick.
So they'll maintain possession, and they're going to back her up. Julia Collins trying to move up a couple steps.
And this is great momentum so far for the mids. This could be a nice momentum change for them.
Yeah, what if you get this to 3 goals by the 10-minute mark or even sooner?
I think they would be sitting in a great position, and of course all the emphasis would go back to the draw controls, how important of a piece of the game the draw will be in this next 13 minutes of the game.
Young out there with the 2 Collins. Julia flanked by Bailey Mathis. Tabasso taking care of Jenna.
Julia Collins, or Jenna Collins, working really hard there with the ball. Navy seeming a little bit more comfortable handling against pressure.
Yeah, and that wasn't the case earlier in the game.
No, I mean, they're doing a great job here. They're protecting their stick as they beat that first defender, just like she does right here. And Jenna Collins is able to draw the yellow card.
So you get the 2-minute opportunity to go 7-on-6, 12:32 left in the game, and maybe the tide turning potentially toward the 2nd seed. It's a tough road to climb.
It is, but now Navy's going to get to set up their man-up offense. Probably execute with some efficiency here. I'm not too sure if they're going to use the entire 2 minutes. If something presents itself earlier on in this penalty, I think they'll have the green light to take it.
Outscoring them, outshooting them, winning the battle with the draw control circle. Second half shots are 9-1, by the way.
That's a great statistic. The mids have to be very happy with that.
And now they're 15 seconds into the man up. Julia Collins with the fake. And this is that perimeter ball movement we talked about. And they get the cut. O'Donnell, though, ends up denied. Wolf with the big save.
And I definitely think that's the look that Navy really was looking for there. To have O'Donnell slashing across the 8-meter wide open was a great look. Plays into her strengths, but Wolf with a great save.
And now Gallagher going to go on the ride as much as she can. Try and disrupt this for Camely.
Again, you see Whiteford all the way up the field asking for the balls, that low tacker. The defender doing a great job carrying with confidence.
Young was trying to check it away. Loyola is about 40 seconds are the Greyhounds from killing this off.
Navy doing a great job redefending, putting a lot of extra effort in here to try and get the ball back while they're still man up.
20 seconds left. And we're going to get a stoppage.
And they're going to call offsides on Loyola. Just a little miscommunication there. Since they are man down, only 6 players can enter their offensive 30. And they had a 7th run over temporarily, so now the ball will be coming back with Navy.
And Rulin will be the one to start it up again. These are, I would think, where the times where the little things become so important. A simple clear, just communication on passing. Anything that, any type of mistake could really turn things the other way in terms of momentum.
Definitely, and when it really matters is when your big-time players emerge. I think that's also when your mental and physical toughness becomes extremely important at the end of a tight game.
Back to even strength now.
Loyola has played a bunch of defense this half, so you can kind of see them right now. They're sinking back in. They're not as high pressure on ball, so maybe giving a little bit different look. Now you see them send their backer so that Lesher is going to step out and apply a lot of pressure. There they go. Now they're really stepping it up, putting that pressure.
Good ball movement, though. Julia Collins to sister Jenna.
Loyola's been in this defense a majority of the game, and they seem to be just as aggressive as they were to start the game.
Dangerous pass across the zone. Comes back, Gallagher thinking about going high, shooting space violation.
I think this is a hash that Gallagher is probably pretty comfortable from. We'll see what kind of shot she ends up
Here it is.
going with.
It's the windup.
It is the windup.
And there it is. Second time this tournament for Keaney Gallagher. 3-goal game.
She got that one on Friday night as well. That's just an awesome ripper of a shot. And again, I said this on Friday night. I did not mention her. It was one of the hardest shooters in the Patriot League, but this shot certainly puts her up there. It just came really hard. It was technically right to Wolf's stick side, but the change of level and the pace on the shot.
9:09 to play here in the second half, and we have ourselves the makings of a championship game brewing. Navy down by 3, making a push on the Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. 3-goal game. How'd Navy get here? Keaney Gallagher, that's how. Wow.
And you just don't wake up and have a shot like that in your toolbox. Keaney Gallagher is a known lax rat. She shows up early to take extra shots. She stays after practice to take extra shots. And, that's what you get when you put in that much time to your game. That was an awesome shot. You could see Wolf really bit low on that.
9 minutes and change left.
Andy O'Sullivan, a common name coming from us this afternoon. Really great effort on that draw.
And not giving her enough room, that's what they're saying. Inside of 9 minutes to go. By the way, that fire truck that we showed you a couple times has left. Hopefully there's nothing bad happening. Gallagher running back toward a familiar spot, coming from X.
Navy's going to get another shot against this backer defense. The ball hasn't spent too much time behind the cage at X today with Keaney Gallagher.
Jenna Collins with the move, but there's Wolf.
That was a big time save. That was a prime time save right there.
And Gallagher going to go after it again on the ride. She and O'Connell. And Lesher splits the double with that speed again.
Yeah, you can see great speed. It's going to be a 2v1 coming into cage here.
And they get the opportunity, but Blakeman low and out of bounds.
Amazing goalie play today. These are big time saves.
Camely quickly off the restart.
And so we'll see what Loyola starts to do here. I mean, they do have the potential to start stalling. It's just about 7 minutes left in the game, 7 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. So they could pull out and really draw Navy's defense out.
They've had one goal in this second half compared to what is 4 for Navy, and have been outshot 11-1. And a card coming.
So Valenti did a great job kind of stripping Cami Whiteford on her take to cage, maybe just out of frustration. Cami Whiteford had a little bit of a retaliation foul.
So now man-up opportunity for the next 2 minutes. Not too many teams get close to the Greyhounds. Lehigh did it earlier this year with a late second half wave just like this. That game went into overtime before Emily Clark ended up winning it for the Greyhounds. Do we have more of the same in us today? Maybe. Good amount of time for the mids, but 30 seconds already gone here in this man-up opportunity.
Loyola doing a good job of marking those inside cutters tightly. Looks like Navy's going to get into something a little bit more set here.
Yeah, O'Donnell was trying to work her way around the middle of that zone. Julia Collins. No cutters as O'Sullivan goes through, but they get it on the doorstep. Bounce shot and a score. It's O'Donnell.
And that was awesome. And I actually think that goal was generated. I think it was Julia Collins up high through just a nice, like a quick little body fake as if she was going to just throw another perimeter pass, but then shot that ball to the inside. We get another look of it here. Great patience to just fake on the doorstep and shoot around. O'Donnell as a freshman, I think that takes a lot of maturity to not rush the shot, especially against a really top goalie like Wolf. Wolf came out really far. O'Donnell was really composed, was able to place the ball around her there.
First 30 minutes to the Greyhounds.
And Matt, it's a 2-goal game.
Just
like that.
First almost 24 of this second half. Credit them to Navy. And let's get a look. And sold it with the stick fake, too.
Navy's got a lot of momentum going their way. They're having a lot of success on the draws, just the second efforts on the draw controls. They're finding success with their shooting in this half. They've got a lot of great things going for them right now.
And you'll notice here they go back to Tabasso.
Yeah, they are going back to Tabasso. She had some success early on in the first half. Maybe looking to recreate that here.
Way up in the air, jump ball situation. Collins off the carom. Blake Smith. And still loose. And guess who? It's O'Donnell.
It's amazing effort on these second chance balls by Navy. Their defenders have come off their restraining line so hard to help out with these draw controls. You could see Molly Doyle was involved in that one.
Whiteford just made a full run at O'Sullivan and couldn't get her. 5.5 gone by, or left, I should say, in this second half. 2-goal game. Collins from 12. Valenti works it back out.
You know, Sullivan was wide open in the middle there for a little bit. The Navy attacker carrying behind the cage missed her, but Navy playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum right now.
5 minutes, I'm sure, on the Greyhound sideline suddenly feels like an eternity. Collins sends it, Gallagher. Inside 5 minutes to go. Julia Collins with the nice roll dodge, but lost it.
That's a great spot for Julia Collins to dodge from. Oh
But-
no.
But they give it right back. Doyle able to get it to Young. With the feed, the cut, right on the doorstep, and it goes wide.
That was a really nice kind of risk there to feed that ball in and push that ball off an unsettled situation. Luckily, Navy was able to back the cage up and they maintained the possession.
Coming up on 4 minutes. Collins out there with Gallagher. Her sister Julia. Morgan Young, O'Donnell, and O'Sullivan.
Loyola reverting back to their man-to-man defense right now. There's been a few open looks to the middle in the last few possessions against their zone. Maybe that's why they're sinking into their man.
Collins split the double, but Wolf able to shut it off.
And again, just a little error on the clear, and Navy gets the ball back.
Julia Collins to take it away, and Gallagher with an opportunity. She loves this play behind the cage and nearly beat Wolf.
Oh, that was close. I hope they replay that shot. I don't even know what happened on that shot.
And we're going to get a timeout with 3:14 to go here in the second half. Hard to believe that it was 9-3 at the break. 5-1, Navy has outscored the Greyhounds. But sometimes if you have a big cannon in goal, you shoot it.
Exactly, and this was a big save. You know, Molly Wolf probably scouted Keaney Gallagher pretty well. Katie dips low, Molly follows her low, and then is able to recover high on that fake. But that was a really, really great take by Keaney Gallagher, but an even better save. And you got to believe, you know, Loyola had a few turnovers there in the last few minutes. I'm sure Coach Adams is not too pleased with that, but at the same token, they're up 2 goals with just a little over 3 minutes left. So they do have the ability, they have the horses, they have the stick work to be able to stall and maintain possession here for the last 3 minutes if they want.
And Wolf has had more than her fair share. There was the one on Gallagher, just got to look at the one on Jenna Collins, where she split the double team. Almost sometimes wonder why she doesn't try and do more of that. You would think she has the green light to create on her own when she wants to.
Yeah, and Keaney Gallagher, I think she is just such a team player. I think at the end of the day, she would rather assist than score, but her team needs her to score. You can see they've moved her up high, maybe to get a few more touches or be an assisting threat up from the top of the 12-meter. But I think she is just naturally really a great player from X. She's got that shiftiness and great stick work to be able to be a great X player.
3:14 to go. Mathis will be the one to play it in, and based on her body language, she wants to get it to Wolf.
You're going to do a little deputy here and have Lesher run the ball out of the crease. Those last few clears by Wolf, although she's one of the best goalkeepers in the league, her clears, last 2 clears didn't connect, but that one does.
Camely bringing it through the midfield area and gets it checked away, but able to get it past Doyle and get the Greyhounds into their offense.
If Loyola does try and spread it out and stall here, Navy's going to have to get into their stall break pretty quickly. And you can see Navy is getting some players, some defensive players into the game behind their offensive restraining line. If any of their defenders on the end, you see Jenna Collins coming over the lines, bringing a new defender in, a fresh defender in. trying to get as many fresh legs in there to try and get the ball back as possible.
Boyum being a little bit more aggressive, leaving the cage.
Definitely. In order to get a double team on the ball, she's going to have to come out and play that low attacker.
And they beat her low.
And it's Camely.
Hat trick for Frankie Camely.
And you saw Camely really step up in that semifinal game late in the game to finish on these opportunities. You know, if that was a save, Navy would be coming back at the other end and have a chance to narrow the gap down to 1, but she makes a big-time play and finishes with composure.
This, I would think, basically cements your candidacy for most outstanding player.
Definitely, she stands out as certainly the most outstanding player of this tournament.
10 goals in 2 days for Frankie Camely.
That's a lot of goals in 2 games.
And we're told that she actually works on some of the productions here for the television crew.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool experience to have.
One more look. And yeah, Boyum had to come out. Gonna be tough when you're going one-on-one like that.
Definitely, definitely. And Boyum did a great job, but Camely was able to just shoot that ball low.
You can see on Jen Adams' face, not too pleased, I don't think, with the way this second half has gone.
I know, and I know she has high expectations for her team. Even after a semifinal game, I know she's probably thinking there were some things they could have done better earlier on in the game. But to be honest, a win's a win. A win in this game, whether it's by 1 goal or 5, it's going to secure them a chance to move on to the NCAA tournament and to be, like, once again, the Patriot League tournament champions. So whatever it takes, a win is a win.
At one point, they went over 19 minutes without a goal. But trying to finish it out here. Most important draw control, perhaps, of the day. Inside at 2 minutes.
Yep, and Loyola's going to go back to Tabasso against Jenna Collins. But something to pay attention to is definitely how hard the players behind the restraining line for Navy are coming off the line to get involved in the grub ball.
Draw control circle has been dominated, at least in the second half, by Navy. +5 overall in the day. 12-7. And they get the good carom.
And it's a Navy defender who keeps that ball alive.
But guess who? It's Camely. And they're able to get it out into space.
Loyola's attacker doing a great job of running to space.
And that's Powers.
We refer to that as the land of opportunity, running to the land of opportunity.
And lots of opportunity in the second half for the mids.
And with a 3-goal lead, you know, I think Loyola's going to continue to have the green light on an open net or a wide open 1v-none take to cage.
Blakeman had an opportunity right there.
She did.
They elected to go clock instead.
They may just be content to try and run out the entire clock, do this sure bet, the sure thing.
And Boyum's going to come out. They're going to have to take some chances as Filippelli ends up drawing the call.
And Molly Doyle, fortunately senior defender for Navy, is going to finish out the game on the sideline with that yellow card. And this is just going to make it a little bit easier for Loyola to run out the clock here. They're going to be man up. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for Navy to get a double team on this ball. With Loyola's great stick work, this could be kind of fun for them.
Boyum moving in and out. We're inside of a minute to go. Blakeman.
That was a great play by Hubley. Actually saved that shot, even though Boyum was out of the cage there. Hubley stepped in kind of as a makeshift defender, makeshift goalie, got a stick on that ball.
And couldn't get the backup, unfortunately. Whiteford beat her to it. And the mids, it looks like, are going to run out of time.
Definitely looking to be that way right now.
Greyhounds going to move to 6-0 in Patriot League tournament games. During that time, they've outscored opponents 84-49.
And they're gonna just hand out what looks like one more yellow card. Just Navy being really aggressive, trying to get the ball back here.
Off the restart, one more for the exclamation point with 2.8 to go. And Filippelli makes it a 4-goal game. Her 11th of the year.
Yeah, Navy's played the second half. They played a great second half. I think it was just that first half deficit that put them in the position where they are now. They just had a little too late in the game to make that run. It looks like it's going to go back to one more draw to round out this game.
Tabasso and Collins, this will finish this out.
The referees are just discussing something. I'm not too sure. I'm just making sure that Navy has the proper amount of people on the field. We're still going to be man down.
And this is it. Collins and Tabasso one more time. Horn sounds, and the dynasty continues here in Baltimore. 31 games in the Patriot League for the Loyola Greyhounds, unblemished in all 31. Tournament and regular season champions for the 3rd straight year. The student beats the teacher. Jen Adams and the Greyhounds over Cindy Timchel's mids.
Yeah, and a great win for Loyola. They've had such a great run in this conference since joining 3 years ago, and looks like all of us Patriot League teams will head into next season, and Loyola will still have the biggest target on their back. Their time will come. But this was a great game for them. It was great that they held on at the end.
We saw the balance in the first half that they had, able to jump out to that 9-3 lead, and you have to credit the young ladies from Annapolis and the second half that they were able to put together.
Yeah, they showed great fight, great effort on the draw controls. That definitely stood out in the second half, and you know, they should be so proud of this game. I know it's going to sting a little bit for Coach Timchal. Still has yet to beat Coach Adams in tournament play, but they'll get there, and this was a great performance for Navy.
Molly Wolf and company, we get the look as the trophy presentation just about to get started. Now 13th title overall in program history. And as we said, 5th in 6 years, 3rd straight Patriot League title since coming over from the Big East. And overall strengthening this league and really upping the ante across the board. But a valiant effort in the second half from Jenna Collins, Morgan Young, Julia Collins, and the rest of the mids. Really dominated that second 30 minutes in a way that I don't know that you and I anticipated based on the way that the first 30 went.
No, not on the way that the first 30 went, but I think that they gave your typical Navy gritty performance, and any team that's coached by Coach Tim Schultz, she has so much passion, and undoubtedly, they were fired up coming out at halftime.
Get the final totals. Navy ends up actually outshooting the Greyhounds 28-23. End up winning 2/3 of the draw controls. And overall, actually had less turnovers. Really, it ended up being a more even game than we thought.
Yeah, and the fouls actually really did increase in the second half. We thought we'd be looking at maybe upwards of 50 fouls per team. Kind of evened off in that second half, leveled off a little bit.
And they get Jen Adams with the Gatorade. Molly Wolf having a little bit of fun.
Seems like Molly Wolf has got a great personality, genuine joy for the game and for being on a team.
And it looks like they even got it captured on the, I think that was a GoPro they had down there, the little hero camera.
Oh yeah, the Greyhounds Women's Lacrosse program definitely has a great Instagram account. Check into it time to time. Definitely some good use of the GoPro.
And Jen Adams gets what is career win number 110 for her. And a 6th straight tournament appearance. Honestly, the two of them, Jen Adams and Cindy Timchel, this is amazing. In the time that Jen Adams has been with the Greyhounds, no less than 11 wins. At the time that Cindy Timchel has been at either Maryland or Navy, not a season less than 11 wins.
Yep, they both come from such a winning tradition, and wherever they go, they win.
And you know what the best part is for you, Coach Wags? You're just getting started.
I know. It's fun. It's fun to have seen their tradition of excellence that they've created, and I'm excited to create our own.
The two representatives from Boston University are Caroline Megan and Jill Horka.
Caroline Megan and Jill Horka from BU as the all-tournament teams being announced.
Julianne Durazio and Allison LeBeau.
Julianne Durazio, Ale LeBeau. Can't see them right now, but pictures flashing across the screen of each of them.
3 student athletes of the runner-up squad were also selected to the all-tournament team.
And for the mids,
From the Navy midshipmen, number 5, Molly Doyle.
Molly Doyle, the senior from Ivyland, PA, capping what was the season as a first-team All-Patriot League selection. Getting a pat on the back from Patriot League Executive Director Jen Heppel.
Number 17,
Morgan Young, who honestly is, in doing this now 2 years, is one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, and she'll have one more year left next year to be able to make her mark.
And Jenna Collins.
2 more years to
Yep.
make her mark. She's already made a huge impact on the Navy program and been a fierce competitor in the Patriot League.
So there are the 3 runners-up on the Patriot League All-Tournament team.
and now the 4 members of the all-tournament squad representing the 2016 Patriot League champion Loyola Greyhounds.
4 different Greyhounds on this team.
Number 1,
Sabrina Tabasso ended up with a goal today, active in the semifinals as well. Frankie Camely, also on the all-tournament team. Should be noted that you can be on the all-tournament team and get the most outstanding player. That usually does happen.
and number 30,
And Molly Wolf ends up being the 4th.
It's fun. Loyola definitely has some veterans named to the team, but also some youth there in Tabasso and Camely. Return next year.
MVP. Oh, wow. So no Frankie Camely.
She did. I mean, Molly Wolf had some really good saves down the line. She ended up with 10 on the day.
I thought that maybe Frankie Camilley's last goal, with it being the one to clinch, kind of cemented it, but maybe not. Sal Doyle, Young, Collins for Navy, Tabasso, Camilley, Lesher, and Wolf. And Molly Wolf takes home the MVP trophy. And I'm sure Cindy Timchel will have her mids working even harder next year to be right back in the same position.
Definitely. I mean, they did come so close in this game. It's got to give them a good momentum, good juju, Matt.
That's right.
As they head into another season next year.
14th win of the year for the Greyhounds. And again, the dynasties that has been established in Baltimore, it's going to continue for going into at least one more season. Will we have a new champion next year? Still remains to be seen. And you know as well as I do, Coach, that's why you go out there and you play.
Exactly. Anything can happen. That's the beauty of sports. That's why we all play it. You know, you can be undermatched athletically, skill-wise, but at the end of the day, whoever's going to leave it all on the field, compete the hardest, has a shot.
Molly Wolf, the senior from right here in Baltimore. The Wall of Baltimore, they call her. Right here in her home city.
And she gives them a good, big Mother's Day shout out to all the mothers in the stands.
Yep, certainly a good Mother's Day if you're on the Greyhound side of things.
Definitely. And, you know, we were talking about this a little bit before the game, but it's one of the hardest things to watch is when a team season is over like Navy's is you just feel for the seniors. And great thing about these Navy seniors is what they're going to be doing after they graduate. And there's got to be a lot of proud parents on the Navy side that are really proud of their senior daughters and everything they've been able to accomplish over the last 4 years.
And it's always so abrupt. It always ends so quickly, and you never know whether it's the NCAA tournament in basketball or lacrosse or whatever it happens. You can never time the end. It only ever ends the right way and the way you want it to for one team. And that's, at the same time, what makes it great and what makes it tough to deal with. But we love to do it and really enjoyed it. Had fun with you.
Yeah, I had fun too, Matt. Maybe we'll do it again.
Well,
we can tag team.
Well, for your sake, I hope you're playing in it next year.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I know. I hope we don't do a Patriot League game, but maybe with the professional lacrosse coming to fruition, maybe we can get on a game like that together.
Sounds good to me. That will do it for us here from a nice weekend, or at least a nice Sunday in Baltimore, where we got some sunshine, plenty of it shining down on Sabrina Tabasso and the Loyola Greyhounds. 31 straight now in the Patriot League, 6-0 in Patriot League tournament games, as they are once again the tournament champions for the third straight year. For my broadcast partner, Kristen Wagbo, our statistician, Dan O'Connell, producer, of course, my man Eric up there, Eric Peterson, Matt Martucci, thanks. Good afternoon from Baltimore, Maryland, where our final score, Loyola with the 12-8 win over the Navy Mids. For more live Patriot League broadcasts, features, and info, go to CampusInsiders.com. An exclusive presentation of the Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders. Good afternoon, everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.